Hello folks, Mundane Man here again, and I'm going to show you how I clean out my Electrostatic Allergy Gold permanent air filter. Now this unit I have is not one that you throw away, it's one that you can clean every 30 to 60 days. And I usually clean ours about every 60 days, but usually it's based on when our thermostat lets us know that it's time to replace the air filter. I don't replace it, of course, because ours is a permanent air filter. I just take ours out and clean it. So let's get at it. Okay, so we're down by the furnace. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to shut off the furnace. See if I can reach it here. It's probably not totally necessary, but you know, safety first. So and then down at the furnace here, get the slot where the filter goes in, and you can see there is my filter. Now it looks sort of dirty and dusty, but it's not too bad. So I'm going to take it out to the garage and vacuum it off and wash it out and then put it back in again. Another thing I'm going to do, as I trip and fall here, during the summer when you're cooling, you don't need the humidifier and you don't need the air running through the humidifier, so I'm going to close the shield off. That just closes off the air going into the humidifier here. It goes through this pipe and into the humidifier and then down into the return air. And when you're cooling, you don't need that. So we'll close that off. If you want, you can turn the water off too, but I have such a cheesy valve here that every time you turn it, it has a tendency to drip, so I'm just going to leave that as is. Okay, let's take the filter out to the garage and vacuum it off and clean it. I'm going to take my shop vac there, and basically you vacuum off the input side of the filter. You can see where all the dirt is on it. Vacuum that off, and then you flip it around, and then with your hose, you clean out this side by forcing water through it, and then it pushes the dirt out the way it came in. And it does have an indicator on it here on this end as to which way the air and the water should flow. So you wash it one way and the airflow goes the other. So this is called an Allergy Gold filter. It is reusable, and you can clean it. I can't see the manufacturer here because it's wore off, but I'll look it up and I'll put a link down below if you're interested in buying one of these. We got it through our guy who put in our air conditioning, and it's been a pretty good filter. I mean, we don't notice a lot of dust build up in the house, but if you don't dust for a couple weeks, you do see some stuff settling. So of course it doesn't get 100% of it, but if it did, no air would flow through it either. So okay, let's get vacuuming this off. You can see on my quad here, I bumped it around, you can see some of the dust coming out of it. And you know what a lot of that is? That's coming out of the humidifier because there's no call for humidity, so the cartridge inside of it, inside the humidifier, is dry, and then all that calcium just sticks there. So that's why I closed off that one part of the humidifier ductwork so that air doesn't keep going through it and then sprinkling all this white dust everywhere. And then in the fall, when it's time to start heating and humidifying, I'll replace that cartridge again with a new one so that there's no more lime and water buildup or water sediment built up into it. So there we go, mostly cleaned out. Not any big chunks of calcium or lime buildup in it anymore. And the next thing is to wash it off with the hose. I just use a regular garden nozzle on my hose, and it's just like a soft spray. You don't need to put some high pressure through it just to blast out any of the remaining dust and dirt in there. So let's do it. Okay, now I'm just going to grab a garden hose and wash it out. Always make sure you're following the instructions which way to wash. So this says to wash through the lighter colored side towards the black. So I'm just going to grab my garden hose and do that. Okay, now I'm just going to prop it up by the drain here, let it drain out for a while, get rid of some of that excess water. Okay, most of the water is drained out of it now. It doesn't matter that you put it back a little bit wet. In the summertime, we have our furnace on automatic recirculate mode, which is done through the thermostat. And about every hour, the fan will run for about 15 minutes just to keep the air circulating through the house. So with that, the air is going through that filter and it'll dry it out pretty quick. So you don't need to worry about if it's a little bit damp when you put it back. So here is the information on this filter. It's called an Allergy Gold. Ours is a 20 by 25 by 1. Your furnace could be different, of course. This one's manufactured by a company called Dust Free. Now, I've had this probably, I want to say 3 years now, and I clean it probably once every 60 days. I think that's the automatic timer on the thermostat that says, okay, it's time to clean your filter. So I follow that schedule. You can clean it more often. I guess it depends also how much your furnace is running. Ours runs a fair amount in the winter, but I still don't find that it gets so polluted with dust and dirt that I need to clean it more than 60 days per cleaning. So that's the schedule I go with, but your needs may be different. You may run your furnace more or even less. So, but just check it periodically. Okay, now I'm going to stick the filter back into the furnace, making sure I follow the airflow guidelines here. So the airflow on this particular model should be flowing through the black area and out the white area. And again, when you wash it, it's just the opposite, through the white area, pushing any debris out through the black area. So let's just slip it back in. That is that. One thing I forgot to mention is this filter has an electrostatic property to it. So as the dust particles flow through it, they're kind of charged with either a negative or positive charge, and then they get caught in the filter and prevent it from passing through. Different from an electronic filter, definitely, because those use all kinds of different electronics to capture the dust and blast the dust away. But this one seems to meet our needs quite well. So. And here's Toffee checking to make sure I did the right job. Everything look okay? Does it meet your requirements? Perfect. Okay, now I'm just going to go up and reset the thermostat. Oh yeah, I guess I should turn the furnace back on again too. Done. Let's head upstairs now. Okay, so I'm back at the thermostat, and now I'm going to reset the replace filter warning. So you just press the replace filter and you do a reset timer, and it resets it back to another 60-day rotation. So sometime around, well, this is the beginning of July, so I would say sometime around the beginning of September it'll be asking me to clean the filter again. So that's how you clean out your electrostatic Allergy Gold filter. Pretty easy and relatively cheap. I mean, the filter itself I think was about $100, but it lasts forever. So you're doing you know, 6 cleanings a year, and it's kind of worry-free that way. You don't have to make sure you've got filters on hand. You can just clean it out winter or summer. I vacuum mine first and wash it out. Other people just wash it. You can even buy chemicals, I think, to clean it out, but I have never found that to be necessary. I don't see too much dust buildup throughout the house, so I think this filter is doing the job that we need it to do. So that's it for this exciting edition of Mundane Man, and we will talk to you later.